cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly. Black and white. Black and white, just let me go. It's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. Just let me go. It's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. White, white, white. Black and white. Black and white. It's black and white. It's black and white.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Simracersworld TV, and welcome to another 3 rounds in the Z1 Dashboard Simracersworld TCR Winter Series. We're here at Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, the wonderful and legendary Imola. My name is Chaz Draycott, and alongside me once again for another week of undoubted banter is Peter MacKay. How are we doing, mate? This is it's going to be an interesting combo, this one, I think.
Almost as interesting as your exquisite Italian accent.
Oh, heck. I'm probably not going to bust that one out for a good few years now.
Well, it's impossible not to say it with proper expression and passion.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, you know, that's just oozes out of this place. It's an incredible racetrack and is really intertwined in Italian motor racing heritage. And when the first foundations of Imola were laid in 1950, Mr. Enzo Ferrari himself was there to make sure that everything was in order.
And I'm sure he had a wonderful, watchful gaze over everything as well to make sure. We all know how he loved to have things his way and make sure that everything was spot on. But yes, these cars are going to provide a lot of entertainment around this circuit, I think. We're just in qualifying at the moment. And of course, this man has been the talking point very recently in this championship. Corentin Guinez currently leading the championship by some good margin, to be fair, over Bram van Putten. He's actually got a lead of 21 points at the top of the standings, so he has opened it up. But to be honest, Peter, the main impressive thing from Corentin has been the fact that he's won four out of the first 6 races in this series, and he seemed to be unstoppable. But at Road Atlanta, we had a real gem of a race meeting, and it sort of turned the tables a little bit in certain battles, didn't it? It looked like some of the guys were starting to reel him in.
It did, yeah. And we saw Bram van Putten really, you know, turning the tables by finally getting that win in the second race of the meeting at Road Atlanta a week ago. And that really changed the dynamic. It changed the momentum of the championship. And of course, Corentin's race 3 did not go like he would normally expect it to. So the championship is not done. And as we've seen in lots of forms of touring car racing, particularly our shared love, the British Touring Car Championship, it can turn around very, very quickly. And as we see, Bram van Putten puts in a quick lap there to go P4 in qualifying, just coming up to the halfway point in qualifying. But Corentin Guinez is fastest at the moment, but Bram van Putten just, I think we should see the drivers warming up to a really quick lap throughout this session.
I reckon so. I think we're going to see some very, very quick times come in. 7 minutes gone of the 15-minute session. Someone else that's up there is reigning champion Miguel Freitas. Now, we said at Road Atlanta that Miguel, well, I mean, it didn't take anything for us to say it, but he had a real nightmare at Road Atlanta, and he's not had the easiest start to his season. He's really had to sort his act out to keep up with some of these guys at the front, and after walking it last season, essentially, it's just been a real strange season so far for him. But now we're going into the second half of the season. Obviously, only 6 race meetings. There's 9 races to go, which sounds like a lot, but I mean, he's not really in a place to turn it around. He's 6th in the championship, but he's he's over 70 points back from the championship leader.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been a completely different ballgame this new season of the SRW TCR series, where the depth of field is just immense. I mean, not only do you have so many cars, but so many quality cars. And, you know, that certainly played a factor whenever any driver, not just Miguel, has made a mistake. They've been severely punished for it. And you're often, if you make a mistake early, or if you're caught up in somebody else's incident early, you're paying for it all night. You know, it's then just a climb, not just back in that race, but throughout the rest of the evening. So, judging by Miguel's qualifying pace, looks like he's much more up for it tonight. And as we can see, he's within a 10th of current pole sitter Corentin Guinez. And I wonder, look where he is on track. He is right in. He has got his Caravan Kawasaki tow bar out. He's he's hooked into Corentin Guinez in front, and he will. Do you know what? He's actually the perfect distance here. You know, because he's not too close that it's sort of upsetting his pace. He's probably just close enough to get little pieces of draft. So actually, if, say for example, Corentin Guinez were to put the car on pole now, might be that Miguel Freitas would maybe pip him. We see this a lot in motorcycle racing with drafting, and occasionally in BTCC as well. So Miguel Freitas, he's put himself in the perfect spot.
He has indeed. And he's just making sure that he carries his line. They use a lot of runoff there, but you can get away with quite a lot of it without getting a slowdown penalty. We know what iRacing can be like for its notorious slowdowns. A little bit of a change around, by the way, as well. Niles de Kuiper has gone into the Academy class. They had a minimum of 10 cars in each class, so Niles has been moved down based on previous performances. which may sound like a bit of a kick in the teeth, but at the same time, it puts him up against people of a similar pace, which is nice to see. And we also have a new driver this week, which is Jack Taylor in the Privateer entry, but that's obviously a next-gen racing livery, and a very striking one at that. Also, another change further up, which won't be a surprise to some if they were watching last week for Road Atlanta. Nikodem Wierzbicki is now in the Precision class after what can only be described as an incredible debut performance, Peter. He was brilliant to watch, wasn't he?
Oh yes, he really was getting up there, and actually it's quite funny on my production feed in my little commentary box here in my flat in Edinburgh. He's actually, for some reason, his car was coming up as plain white, so it was actually made it even more impressive from my point of view, because it was like a kind of plucky privateer who'd remortgaged his house to run a plain white Audi RS3 to LMS, and now he's been signed by Ignium Motorsport, and he's got the reverse rubbish shirt. Actually, he's got it round the other way. So the Ignium Motorsport, lovely on a race car, terrible on a dress shirt.
I can imagine. So you could say he's the Matt Neal of the Z1 dashboard Simracersworld TCR Winter Series. He's here to upset the factory entries and the big teams. But yeah, still good to see all the Ignium cars out there. We've got some fantastic teams in this championship, of course. Team Mad, G-Drive Racing, Exemia, Fiercely Forward, Full Send Racing. We've got Fraser Smith in here, and HM Engineering as well, with their force of drivers, especially spearheaded by Corentin Guinez. Can't see his teammate on the list at the moment, unfortunately, but I'm having a little look. We've obviously got Sharebox TC Motorsport. Apparently, Mats Borg Anderson was going to vote for me in the VCO Simmies because I called his car a McNugget Sharebox. So if that's all we've got to do to get a vote, I mean, obviously Peter and I both nominated, and we're both very grateful for that. We were very surprised, to be honest, weren't we, mate? Not to go on about it too much, but it literally came to both of us like, what?
But you're going to laugh at this, Chaz. Just before you mentioned that, when you're talking about Fiercely Forward, I was going to say the VCO Simi nominated Team of the Year, Fiercely Forward Racing. I thought that would be a plug, but not too obvious. And then shameless Draycott, in you go, and you're like, oh, yeah.
I've been nominated.
I'll be nominated, and I'll call you whatever you like if you're going to vote for me. I have to say, I have to say I'm exactly the same. If anyone would like their car to be called a special name, or if you want to say it, you know, that it's got 800 horsepower, I'll say whatever you like. You just let me know.
Oh, love it, absolutely love it. But yeah, it's great for us to both have that on our shoulders, even just nomination wise. It's just brilliant, so we're very grateful to everybody, and of course we get to still come and do this and have our fun. I mean, we love what we do, and we have a right laugh together in the commentary box. We also do the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship as well, and to be honest, I don't think I'd call it work. I love it.
I know, me too. I don't think we got nominated for the Armchair Steward of the Year, though, Chaz, to be honest.
No, I'm not surprised, really. I think some of my my opinions on these... Actually, it's quite ironic we look at Bram Class now, because he looked back at the incident last week where he came out of the chicane and made contact with Miguel Freitas, and he said that it was just a pure mistake. You know, he was putting a bit more lock on to make sure he got back on the circuit, but the car was oversteering, and I said it looked like he right-hand down him. Wasn't too pleased with that, but we had a chat and all is good. But again, my armchair stewarding, as you call it, certainly came out in that case. But he all can be forgiven for anything. I know what you're going to say.
Go on, tell me.
He's got Oceanic coffee on it.
No. That's good too. In fact, he's got that's another. He's got obviously Oceanic coffee is what a sponsor to have, but BBS wheels. He's got BBS wheels logos. Look at that, just on the corner of each corner of the car.
Ah, yeah.
You can't beat a set of BBS wheels. You've got a Golf Mark 1 or 2 GTI with a set of BBS wheels on it. Oh,
yes, I agree. I actually put BBS CHs on my Skoda Fabia VRS a few years ago.
We're both former owners of that wonderful piece of Czech hot hatch engineering.
Oh yeah, it's an incredible car.
Mega little car. I want to go and find another one. I love that car so much.
In all honesty, I'm looking for a new car in the next few weeks, so watch this space. We'll see if I can find one. If I find one that I don't quite want, that I think you would like, I'll send it you.
A hooky one, yeah.
But we've got two Flemish cars in the middle of the field at the moment. Anton Dupin and Keanu Bourguignon, most lovingly known here on Sim Racers World as Keanu Reeves Beef Bourguignon. He's in 11th with his teammate just behind. These two have both been drivers as well that, even though they're in the mid-pack at this point, they've been able to get their elbows out and have a really good battle up front, haven't they? As the session instantly ends on the dot. That's the savage bit of this heat racing.
Yeah, just when you think, oh, I'm sure every single driver on track at that point was on the lap record on it.
Well, here is our grid, and well, would you believe it? Corentin Guinez and Bram van Putten on the front row. Miguel Freitas, a brilliant third for him. Fraser Smith in fourth, with Damien Harris in fifth. Then it's Matthias de Tige. Chris Wood and Mark Woodhouse make it a team mad row 4, with Ben Thayens and Matthew Crisp rounding out your top 10. Then it's Keanu Bourguignon, Anton Dupin, fastest in the consistency class in 12th, with Nikodem Vejbicki and Gregory Vranks on the 7th row. We then have Michael Blake and Ashley Gaffol, with Scott Malcolm and Bram Klaas just behind them. Mats Borg Anderson is 19th, with Paul King in 20th. Daniele Giudici is 21st, ahead of Joachim Gulbrandsen in 22nd. We then have Jason Rowe, alongside Neil Stevenson in 24th, with Jürgen Knockaert and Ryan Walker on the 13th row of the grid. Then we have the newcomer Jack Taylor with Niles de Kuiper. Then it's Taylor Lane and Rob Jackson on the 15th row, ahead of Craig Schill. And then the drivers that did not set a time are Naveed Hussein, Ross Nicholson, Niels Manshanden, Scotty Angelo, and Jessica Myers. And that rounds out your grid. Now, we've seen Guinez do this a lot here, Peter, running from the front and taking race wins. Do you think he can do that again here? Because the slipstream down that main straight is very, very strong.
Oh, it's hard to tell. I think Bram van Putten, he'll be really happy to get that monkey off his back and have got that victory in race 2 at Road Atlanta. So I think it's going to be close. But Bram van Putten's going to have to really be on it, because 2/10 might not sound a lot, but in this form of racing, that is quite a big gap.
It is indeed. We'll have to see what these guys can do then in this first race. The nerves will certainly rise. And I'm sure that we're going to be in for a really strong showing here. Plenty of good racing has always happened around Imola. It's a circuit where people can definitely battle to the best of their abilities. But we're about to get round 10 of the Z1 dashboard at Sim Racers World TCR Winter Series underway. And there we go. They're off the line. It's a good start by Guinez. Still side by side though. Bram van Putten goes with him. You could hear my spotter, which I enabled in iRacing the other day, speak to me in German. It's a bit of contact into turn 1. Feisty stuff already. You see most of the field just trying to filter their way through. There's a bit of contact. That's Vejbicki sideways through the second part, but he seems to have collected it. People just have to be careful joining back on, but he's done all right. But Bram van Putten there, Peter, well, putting his car alongside Corentin Guinez and making a little bit of a lunge of it. Is all we've got cars off behind.
Oh, we've got a lot of cars. Ashley Gaffol has had a problem as well, and I hope there hasn't been friendly fire there, because Vejbicki not too far up the road either, and a little bit of road rash on a few of these cars as well, which is inevitable in such a big field of TCR machines. Yeah, interesting one there with Bram van Putten. It looked like he might have been able to just fit it around the outside at the chicane there at the Tamburello, but it just didn't quite manage to get it, and I feel that could be critical. Really, Bram van Putten's got to really get on the case of Corentin Guinez and upset his rhythm early.
Now this is Matthew Crisp and Ben Thayens, who have been side by side for what must feel like an age, but finally Matthew Crisp gets in front. The two of them slowing each other down though, and in the battle as well, Keanu Bourguignon tries to go through. Doesn't work for him. Can Gregory Vranks take advantage from behind him? Naveed Hussein's gone off the circuit a little bit further back, but only briefly. You've got Bram Klaas leading his classes. Oh, Michael Blake. Michael Blake's off and he's backwards. Hold your brakes, sunshine. Oh, and then who's that? Wow, nice 360 there by Joachim Gulbrandsen. But I'm not sure what happened to Michael Blake. Maybe a bit of help. Let's have a look.
Big help. Yeah, bump drafting there from, I think that was Vejbicki. A little bit of quarter panel, and then round he goes. I don't think there was a great deal he could have done with that. He's probably got both hands in the air going, what are you doing? And then forgot to hit the... Oh, Tell you what, Joachim Gulbrandsen, there's got to be an award for that. A reverse 360 and holding it. This is going to be good. Right, riding on board then. So it all happens in front of him. Michael Blake goes off and he's trying to... No, bang. But wait, does he give it a boot full of throttle? Whoop. He's probably going, I am the greatest driver in the history of the world.
In Richard Hammond's words, I am a driving god.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That was a scary moment there. And, I mean, in the moment, you do sometimes forget to hold your brakes. Bram Van Putten's not scared of his brakes. Look at that. Corentin Guinness cannot get away early on here. And like you said, Peter, he needs to unsettle him as soon as he can. But look who's right behind. You've got Miguel Freitas and then Damien Owen Harris, a complete underdog at Watkins Glen last time out. And he did an amazing job, to be fair, at staying with the front pack, and he was just always under the radar. Them fiercely forward cars are just always there. You've got then Chris Wood just behind this top four, trying to defend from Fraser Smith, who started fourth. He's dropped 2 places. Chris Wood's actually gained 2 as well, so he's done a smashing job in these opening laps, but very feisty stuff all over the circuit. Doesn't look like many people have had that much of an issue, although I say that, I think Jack Taylor further down's had a bit of an office down the inside. Fraser Smith, beautiful stuff, but now Chris Wood's got the run on him.
Yeah, that was a really good move there from Fraser Smith, but just compromised his exit slightly, and looks like Chris Wood is going to be able to get the inside line heading to Rivazza. Again, impossible to say that without an Italian accent.
Agreed.
And then is Fraser Smith going to come back again? No, he thinks better of it, thinking, I'll just draft along the straight. And whoa, Miguel Freitas has gone wide on the exit of Rivazza. It really tightens up. It's quite a horrible little double left-hander there. So he's had to drop back behind Damien Harris, and that's going to allow Guinness and Van Putten just to escape as Guinness puts in the fastest lap of the race. 155.6 for the Frenchman, the Laurent Aiello of the Simracersworld TCR series, where he's just annoyingly good for the rest of the field.
Yeah, indeed. Rocks up, absolutely nails it. And hopefully he doesn't retire after one season like Laurent Aiello did from BTCC, but it'd be great to see Corentin back again, because the thing is, when you've got a driver like him in the series that can be such a marker for some of these drivers who are already quick, you see the constant development. I mean, we speak about development when we talk about the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship. You know, we see those drivers improving week on week. But even at this level, when you can see the drivers getting better and better each time because they're trying to chase someone that's right at the front of the pack, it's amazing stuff. Oh, Gulbranson's off again, so is Ryan Walker. Walker having a bit of an issue. Let's see what happened here, Peter.
Oh, okay. Let's big punt there from the 555. Ryan Walker. Oh, dearie me.
Just got a bit busy, didn't it, I think?
But now here's a tenuous pun for you. You could say he batted him out the way. Now, did you get that one?
I'd like to pretend that I do, but
so the L555 BAT was the number plate.
It was
on Colin McRae's World Rally Championship car, and BAT stood for British American Tobacco, and 555 was a British American tobacco brand.
I love that.
Hence, he batted him out the way. It's not so good if you have to explain it.
That's just on me, that's because I don't know enough. To be fair, it shows your knowledge of it, mate, and we all do really appreciate it. Love that. Miguel Freitas, by the way, has now got Fraser Smith right behind him. These two dancing partners, you could say, from Season 1. They were never apart. There was never a dull moment. And Fraser's improvement over Season 1 was one of the real stories of it. And now look at this. Side by side with the reigning champ, Damien Harris has done the fastest lap of the race in that clear air behind the two front runners. And down into Turn 1, he gets it done, does Fraser Smith. Bram Class leading his class here. He's just on the outside of Mark Woodhouse. He's in the consistency class. And then further down in 19th place, Jürgen Knockout in the McDonald's racing machine is leading the Academy class, although just behind him is Daniele Giudici for Sim Stickers. He's going to want to try and take that class lead away from him. We look back at the final driver in the top 20, and in the background as well, it looks like there's a bit of a battle going on between Paul King and Jason Rowe, these two side by side. You've also got Jessica Myers in there as well. Oh, Jessica trying to sneak through down the inside. That's the thing with the Villeneuve chicane, it checks up the field so much, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's a bit of a bottleneck. As Jess getting a little bit run wide there by her teammate and the other Cherry Cola themed Fiercely Forward car as they head up the hill. Big long drag. It's quite a big steep hill in these little Audi TCRs towards Piratella. and then down towards Acqua Minerale, which translates directly from Italian into English for really horribly difficult corner, is what it means.
It was mineral water.
Oh, as you can see, whoa! Oh, jeepers papers.
Scott,
That was a big, should we call it a touring car front-wheel drive moment, that one?
Definitely. That was Scotty Angelo there. Scotty, never short of entertaining us commentators, let me tell you that for free. As now Jessica Myers tries to take advantage of Paul King and Jason Rose battle once again. But yeah, I just always thought it meant mineral water, as most of us probably do. But side by side down the hill once again into the braking zone. Damien Owen Harris, another fastest lap. Now Paul King has got through. Or has he? He's run very deep there. Now Jason Rose gone through. Jessica Myers sees the gap, tries to squeeze through. Is she going to make that stick? A bit of argy-bargy on the way out. Hip and shoulder on the right-hand side for Jessica Myers. And now slots back into the slipstream. Now Paul King in there as well. Great battle between those guys. And just on the outer fringes of the top 20, they're still side by side down the straight. Just behind as well, Niles de Kuiper is trying to put a move on Scotty Angelo. I think Scotty's got a bit of damage. Jessica gets into Paul King. Oh, just late on the brakes. Oh, too late on the brakes, I'm afraid. Pushes Paul King off the circuit. Not a bad rejoin, to be fair. He was out of the way, but it's a real shame that happened. Now, I want to look a bit further forward because look at this. Big train developing here behind Miguel Freitas. He's in fourth. Damien Harris is 3 seconds ahead. But you've got Fraser Smith, then Chris Wood, then Matthias de Tige. Then you've got Matthew Crisp and Ben Thayens at the back of this train as well. This is what it looks like from him.
Oh, yeah, you can see really interesting the amount of movement on the steering wheel there for Ben Thayens, just gliding it down into Acqua Minerale. Quite a lot of damage on the back of Matthew Crisp's Audi. The boot's been pushed in very much, braking just at the 50-metre zone and then whoop over the curb. And actually, I tell you what, these TCR cars are perfect. They're a perfect combination with Imola because the curbs at Imola for some race cars are just horrible. But you know, touring cars, they don't mind a bit of curb. In fact, quite like it. Like getting two wheels up in the air. They love it. And it's just it is a really good combination. Quite a twisty circuit, so it's perfect for touring car racing. But Ben Thayens, you drive it. That's what I love about touring cars as well. You've got to drive it like you've absolutely stolen it twice. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you've got to drive it like you stole it, and then when the police seized it, you stole it back out the compound again. It's just absolutely on it. You've got to make this thing hot. Look at this now then, Ben Thayens down the inside of Matthew Crisp. I think Matthew had that damage on the first lap, you know. I remember seeing it as they were going up the hill. And I think maybe just under brakes on lap one, a bit of a tap. Scott Malcolm is battling with Anton Dupin. He's got Mats Borg Anderson just in there as well. That is how close these guys are racing. But Scott gets a bit of a hindered line on the exit. Mats Borg Anderson tries to get some sort of switchback. He's got a lot of momentum. Pulls over to the left-hand side before the Villeneuve chicane. What can he do about putting it down the inside? He's just as late as Scott on the brakes, but Scott carries the momentum around the outside. Bit of a hop on the curb. That might slow him down a bit. Runs a bit wider. Still side by side. Scott nearly runs him out of road there. But all this fair game, I suppose. He was completely ahead. But that means that Anton Dupin can now break away. We've also got a bit more of a close battle between Chris Wood and Matthias de Tige as Fraser Smith hounding Miguel Freitas just in front.
Yeah, Miguel Freitas, he is, he is the man from Porto. He is blocking up that field like port wine blocks up your arteries. It's or is that more the cheese that you have with it? Could be. But he's anyway. The blockage is very much the same, and look how much of a gap there is up to Damien Harris. And I tell you what, Chaz, Damien Harris has been putting in some electric pace, and he's not out of this. Maybe Damien Harris could get his first win of the season.
Yeah, he's not far off the back of these guys. You could argue that Corentin Guinez has still opened up a gap, but it's not much of one. It's only 6/10, and when you're in the slipstream, I mean, we'll go on board with Damien now. We'll see if we can get this battle box up. Lovely that the dashboard's in the way, but there you go. You can see the gap to Van Putten just in front, just ticking down so slowly down the straight. Onto the brakes they go. Obviously, it concertinas up a little bit as they get into the corner.
Dude. So smooth.
It is, isn't it?
That's very impressive. I mean, that might have, for those watching who maybe aren't familiar with iRacing or haven't tried it before, I don't think we can stress just how impressive that is, because these cars are quite difficult to drive smoothly, and that was just silky. That was Jim Clark-esque, actually, I have to say, who won here in 1963 in the first ever Grand Prix at Imola, where there were no Ferraris present. Can you imagine that? The first Grand Prix here at Imola, there was no Ferraris.
Now, I want to know what you polished that shoehorn with to get that into there. Then
that was olive oil.
That was beautiful. That as now something else that's beautiful is this battle between Chris Wood and Matthias de Tige. But now Ben Thanes is getting involved as well. This is going to break these four away from Freitas and Smith just in front. De Tige trying to hold it. These two are two of the most exciting drivers I've ever seen. Matthias de Tige and Ben Thanes, especially in these TCR cars. Last season they were both amazing fun to watch, and now the two Belgians going at it once again with Matthew Crispin there as well. He's got the best seat in the house for this one. We'll go on the nose cam, and there is, well, there's not many words for it, the backside of Ben Thane's car. It looks fantastic from here, does the Audi RS3 LMS TCR. But back down the hill, we've already got 13 minutes under our belts here in this one, Peter. It's an absolute wonder how we managed to fit all this in one race.
Absolutely, and I have to say, I love the quite typical, quite old school Audi box arches as well. That's a very Audi Quattro sort of thing, so a big plus for that. And I love it every year, or every however long it is, when a new RS6 Audi comes out, the arches get wider and wider and more flared, and they get more and more outrageous. I just love it. It's fantastic. Beats an SUV any day of the week for me.
Does indeed. I must say, a good friend of mine had an RSQ8, and I did not realise a car that big could go that fast. It was unbelievable. Didn't quite rival the Tesla Model X, though, I'll give it that. But yeah, unbelievable acceleration for a car that size, especially when it's just a normal internal combustion engine. Scary. But yeah, Audi do a wonderful job of these cars. And it's, to be fair, I mean, you consider the aero on these cars, and even just modern-day touring cars, and how much goes into the aerodynamics on these things, where you think it might not make all the difference. But then you look back at the Audi S4 GTO, which was literally a box back in the day. Big old white and blue box of a thing. Looked like it was about 40 feet off the ground as well. And it was just completely straight down the sides. You couldn't see, if you looked straight down the side of it, you couldn't see the wheels, because they were that far buried in the arches with the big cooling ducts on them as well. Made an amazing sound, but my God, what a strange looking race car that was. But still, Audi always sort of being one of the leaders in motorsport in many ways, and obviously there's big news recently about them starting their LMDH program, or potentially starting the LMDH program, and leaving Formula E, which I think
that's been confirmed today. I have to say, I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. I didn't think we'd see a manufacturer drop out of Formula E, certainly not yet anyway. So for Audi to say we're taking our ball and we're going to play somewhere else and going back to, really, I mean, but Audi in sports car racing, the only thing that they're whoa, hold on to it. Oh, there we go. Ross Nicholson getting all kinds of wild there. Oh, dear me. But yes, for Audi, their win percentage is absolutely incredible in sports car racing. Well held, sir. That's good. So brilliant to see them coming back. I don't think it'll be the £100 million a year juggernaut that it was before. I'm sure it'll be more customer based, but brilliant to see the new. And I think now that Audi have confirmed their LMDH involvement, then the other manufacturers are kind of follow suit. As we see Fraser Smith having a little look up the inside. Oh, that's tight. Oh, that's very tight. Boy, I think he had to back out of that. But yeah, brilliant to see Audi continuing. And I believe they're going to do Dakar as well.
Yes.
Which I have to say, ditch Formula E and go to Le Mans and Dakar. Bravo, whoever made that decision.
I was going to say, I want to be a fly on the wall in the meeting where that got decided. That would be an amazing conversation. Absolutely awesome. I probably wouldn't understand it in German, but it'd be absolutely awesome either way. Now look at this.
Lots of nodding.
Yeah, lots of nodding, indeed. And strokey beard. But Chris Wood, he's not going to be doing any strokey beard. He's going to be looky in the mirror, because it is filled with Matthias de Tige, and his boot's nearly filled with him there. He's a little bit later on the brakes. Very close indeed between them, and it's just as close at the very front. Look at these three.
Oh, and here we go. This is just it's deja vu, isn't it? Cornton Guinness, followed by Bram Van Putten with Damien Harris in third. And you've got to think that Damien Harris, he's probably had enough of being the Danny Pedrosa of the SRW TCR for Reed's bridesmaid, because he's watched these guys go to the line. So if you think it's bad for Bram Van Putten, poor old Damien Harris has had to watch these two guys drive in front of him for most of the season, let alone the race. I think Damien Harris has got enough pace to win this race. He's just got to think when to go for it. Speaking of, here comes Bram Van Putten. He's going to have a look into Tamburello. Down up the inside he goes, and he's got it. He's got it. Late on the brakes, Guinness decides to give best, but Van Putten parks it on the apex, and here comes Harris. Here comes Harris. But whoa, he's going to have Guinness's HM Engineering Audi in the way. Down towards Villeneuve they go. Harris has a little jink to say, oh, I quite fancy going by there. Oh, Guinness. Was there contact there?
I think
maybe not.
They might have just avoided it, but that was close indeed. Very, very lively stuff here from these top three. But again, as we've seen this season, keeping it nice and clean. Just showing us exactly how it's done. It's amazing to watch these guys racing.
It certainly is, but I don't think they would have taken the white. No, they haven't. This is the second to last lap, so there is still time, and Damien Harris is still in this for sure, even though he's been playing rear gunner in this three-car battle. But Van Putten has made that move, and we haven't necessarily seen him do that too often. Guinness has been able to resist a lot of his advances, but down they go towards the Variante Alta, the Alta chicane, and back on the power. And tell you what, Van Putten's really asking a lot of questions of Guinness here, but it'd be fascinating to see, Chaz, if Guinness can retaliate again going into Tamburello on the last lap.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on how the slipstream works for him. It's all about this run out of the final two corners. It's such a difficult part of the circuit to get right, especially in a front-wheel drive TCR car. But as Peter said, this will now be the final lap of this first race of the night. Don't forget, we've got another one coming up straight after this. And then after that, we've got a slight delay in a warm-up session. And then the third race. But look at this run by Guinness. That is so menacing. That was so menacing. Up to the back of us in that H&M Engineering car. He tries to hold it round the outside. If he gets this done, it'll be absolutely wonderful stuff. A little bit of a touch through the left, and he's got this done. What a move by Guinness.
That's sensational. I'm dumbfounded by that. And here comes thought Harris is going to have a look there. Wow, that was... I don't even know. I'm speechless for a change. Wow, that was a really impressive, super clean move from Guinness. How on earth does he get the corner from here? Round he goes. I don't even know if they even make contact. And Van Putten, you could probably see him looking across going, are you kidding? What have I got to do?
Have his hands up in the air in pure frustration. We'll stick with it just to see if he can manage to pry anything away from him. You've obviously got Damien Owen Harris just waiting in the wings. I'm wondering if there's going to be any contact here. Oh, Fraser Smith's off. Oh, Smith is completely off the circuit. What's happened to Fraser? Has he had contact? Bit of a switch over onto the brakes. Oh, they just bang wheels and it completely turns the car. That's such a shame. We'll have to have a look back at that and see, because it could have well been that Miguel moved across to the left. It could have very well been that Fraser moved over to the right on the brakes. These cars do move around a lot on the brakes, so it can happen, but these three are glued together. Look at that, Bram Van Putten's not on the circuit. He wants to find anywhere to try and get past. Guinness is on the inside. Bram Van Putten's in the middle. Damien Owen Harris is on the outside. What's Damien going to try here? Is he going to go for some sort of cutback? It doesn't look like it's going to work. Round the final corner then, Corentin Guinness has opened up a big advantage. It's going to be between Van Putten and Harris for second place, but Corentin Guinness, he knows he's done it once again. Flashes the lights. Van Putten's going to finish second, with Owen Harris in third. Brilliant stuff. Miguel Freitas just about leads this group across the line. Matthias Latiche, Ben Thayens, Chris Wood in there as well, Matthew Crisp, Keanu Bourguignon, and Gregory Vranks round out your top 10. Then it's Woodhouse, Vejbicki, Dupan, and then Borg Anderson is definitely not guaranteed ahead of Ram Class at this point, but he does. And Fraser Smith in the pits as well. I think some of these guys here, especially Vejbicki, might have just got drive-throughs for their incident points at the end of the race there, Peter, which is such a shame to get it done on the last lap.
Especially if you feel like an incident wasn't your fault as well, and you get given 4 incident points for contact with another driver. There's nothing more frustrating than that as Jürgen Nockert comes over the line. But I think one thing we can guarantee, Chaz, is that Fraser will no doubt kindly come in to join us after the race meeting to give his full account of his thoughts on this particular incident.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would, mate. We just see then Jack Taylor finishes his first race in the series. Craig Schill just finishing there ahead of Naveed Hussain. He just crosses the line. Wonderful stuff. Scotty Angelo is side by side with Paul King. Who's going to get there first? Paul is. Paul beats him to it. Then we've got Niels Mansanden coming around the final corner. And then after that scary incident before, not too far back from him, is Joachim Gulbrandsen, who's just going to be coming down the hill now. There he is. In that very second-hand looking 911 machine. But wow, what a save we must say from him. But Corentin Guinez, what a victory once again.
It certainly was, yeah. I mean, I have to say, what can we say there for Mads Borg Anderson in the number 911? Well, he would have been calling 911 to complain about, oh, he's going for him again, he's going to try it again. No. Turned out it was maybe just pure luck after all.
It's the fact that Guinez got that move done, and that's what gave him the lead again to take the win. That was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing stuff. But there we go then. He's now on pole for race 2 ahead of Bram Van Putten, Damien Harris and Miguel Freitas, with Matthias de Tiege and Ben Thayens on row 3. Then it's Chris Wood and Matthew Crisp on row 4. Then we have Keanu Bourguignon and Gregory Ranks rounding out your top 10. And the field is taking up the grid very quickly. So I'll just scroll through the rest for you and you can have a look. Now, Peter, we've seen Corentin Guinez do this a lot of times, where he takes both of the first 2 race wins. I'm going to ask you the same question again. Do you think he can do it here?
I mean, by virtue of that move that he just pulled off there, I don't think there's anything he can't do. Absolutely. Maybe do some knitting while he's racing at the same time. I don't know. It absolutely exceptional. It's going to take a big effort from Damien Harris and Bram Van Putten to be able to upstart him.
Let's see what they can do then. Round 11 of the championship is away. We hear green flag in German, as per my spotter. Thanks, mate. Look at that start, though, from Damien Harris. Straight up into second place. Takes advantage of the natural curvature of the circuit. Bram Van Putten has to dive to the inside to defend from any further advances. Miguel Freitas in there as well. Ben Thayens in there. I think we've got cars off. We've got cars around. There's a Simtech car in the walls, an Ignium car off as well. Fraser Smith dropped a place or so in that as well. Who was the Ignium car off? Jack Taylor seems to have had an issue. It's Neil Stevenson. Let's see what happened here. Oh, he's already gone off track at this point. Apologies. I'll have to go back and have a look. Oh, just a bit of contact. And wow. How lucky were those guys there not to lose that. We've had a big incident, though, with Paul King. Oh, it's an Ignium self-destruction. Niels Mansanden and Naveed Hussain have all gone off, and now Scott Malcolm's off as well, Peter. They're all just flinging it off the track.
Oh dear. Malky from Falkirk has crashed an Audi. That's not really newsworthy here in Scotland. It happens all the time. Oh dear me. Oh, dominoes. Oof.
Oh, I think... Sorry, mate.
€130,000 dominoes.
I think the Niels Mansanden incident, if you watch this here, they make contact to the second part. He takes his own teammate off. Oh... He just tries to go into the gap, and unfortunately, that's where his teammate is. Naveed Hussain seemingly out of this race, but look at Guinez's lead. He has flown away. Van Putten has got back past Damien Owen Harris at this point, so I'm going to try and find out how he did that. It's a race of replays so far. I do apologise, but so much goes on in these first laps. We're going to try and catch it all. Just up the hill. Nice, plain and simple move, that, to me. Looks nice.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. But Guinez on the cold tyres, absolutely extraordinary. You just saw how smooth and how quick he was through Tamburello from the standing start. Tyres will still be cold, and the cars can really hop about over the curbs when the tyres are cold. So he's now broken the back of Van Putten and Harris, and now they won't have the benefit of Guinez's draft. So Corentin Guinez is now, this is a proper ILO performance where he clears off into the distance. And Harris is on the grass. Oh, he's going straight into the wall. Oh, I tell you what, Chaz, I think that might have been a hardware fail. Yep, I think it's a hardware fail. That's massive. Oh, he's lost wheels.
Oh, Mark Woodhouse has got into it as well. Anton Dupin's in there. That was a horrible, horrible incident. So many top runners.
Watch the spec map, guys.
So many top runners out of that one. That was huge. Let's have a quick look if we can find what caused that for Damien Harris. Did he make contact maybe with the car in front? I was just looking over at the timing screen. Oh, this was just after that. This was after the original moment where he went off. So here he is out of turn 2. Gets a bounce. Yeah, it's just going straight. Completely straight.
I think he's had a hardware failure with the wheel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's just...
Oh, but then, look. Well, you can see... It'd be interesting to get an onboard. Sorry, Chaz, I'm giving you lots of work here, but they will know from the onboard if that's the case. So if the wheel just stops moving, that's what's happened. But does he...
Yeah, it's gone.
No, it's moving. It's...
Yeah, but that's just the natural...
Oh, dear. Oh, God. Oh, God. Ow.
There's also contact with Gregory Vranks in the background. Gets into Anton Dupin in the slowdown of all this, I think it is. Or is it Matthias de Tige? Gregory Vranks certainly gets involved, but there's a big check-up here. And sorry, it wasn't Dupin. I think it was Joachim Gulbranson. There's suddenly a check-up. Oh. I think it's Keanu Bourguignon goes into the back of him. And then there's a lot of wrecked Audi RS3s there, I'm afraid. And that is the state of Damien Owen Harris's car. But these guys won't care at the front. They'll be happy with that. That's more freebies. But, yeah, we never want to see incidents like that, do we?
No, and it seemed like that it probably was a hardware failure because Damien Harris, all of a sudden, the power just cut out as well. So maybe his wheel and pedals have disconnected or failed or whatever.
Yeah.
We see it a lot more often than I would perhaps think, actually, Chaz. But anyway, oh, gee, Jess Myers, she is not afraid to get those elbows out, and they've been sharpened in the last 7 days. My word,
they have indeed. She's been very frustrated with results and incidents recently, so absolutely on it. And the little doggo on the back of the car certainly spurring her on. But yeah, that was, I think the only reason the wheel was slightly moving was that it was still applying the movement of the wheel in the sim. It probably wasn't applying anything to the wheel itself because he obviously went on the grass. And oh, Ryan Walker's had another issue. What's happened here? He's had a nightmare of a lap. Side by side. Oh, he sort of turns in and then doesn't. And Jason Rowe is just on the outside of him.
Well, his race has gone up in smoke in the 555 machine.
Sorry, Ryan. I have to laugh at the pun, not you, mate. Chris Wood then has now got Matthew Crisp right behind him as well. And he's hoping Chris Wood doesn't go in smoke and ends up burnt to a crisp. That was poor. But Mats Borg Anderson's up to 6th. Oh, Scotty Angelo. Oh, Scotty Angelo's off now with big damage on the front of the car. Oh, and Ryan Walker again.
Oh, my word.
Oh, Ryan Walker.
That's not very Angelo-elic, but it's time to go into the Alta chicane. Oh, that's just a plough job.
What were you doing there, boys? I think Scotty was coming over to defend, but there's no need to squeeze that much into the chicane. And then on the inside, I think it was Ross Nicholson, just pursued that a bit too much, I think. Right to the death. And there was a big shunt. Now we've got the two Team Mad, or the Smile Times Immortal cars as they're known, with Taylor Lane here trying to go round the outside of Jason Rowe. Scott Malcolm can smell an opportunity. Through he goes. Oh no, sorry, apologies, it's Michael Blake. Scott Malcolm's the one just in front, so there's 3 of them around Taylor Lane. He's going to be sick of seeing the chrome livery. Michael Blake, Mr. Immortal himself, down the inside, nothing doing there. It's so hard to get a move to work through the Villeneuve chicane, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really seen it pulled off without argy-bargy at the very least, and usually with both cars ending up square in the barrier. Yeah, Imola is a circuit of patience where you really got to pick your moments, and the Tamburello is such an important chicane, as we saw. Moves can be made there, and you can set them up. You can set them up coming out of Ravazza and then all the way down the front straight. But there's other corners which sort of give you the impression there's a move on, and then you try it, and then it just bottlenecks straight away. It's a circuit of bottlenecks here in a land where they do make rather good olive oil and wine. So I guess that's apt.
Very apt indeed. Something that is, of course, apt in front of Bram Van Putten is Guinness, but as I'm sure you've just noticed as well, that gap's either stayed the same or just come down a bit.
Oh, that's cut in half, I think. Brand Van Putten is on a charge now. This could be really interesting because for Guinness, he had a really comfortable lead. He had it in the bag, frankly. Now there's over 12 minutes to go, and Van Putten is looming large in his mirror. And Guinness, that'll affect his psyche for sure. He's probably thinking, "Oh, gee, Bram's, he's flying." But now, tell me, Chaz, tires. Do the guys have to worry about tires, or can they just blast for 20 minutes and then chuck them in the bin afterwards? Is there any kind of worry that taking life out the tire early on?
In a 20-minute race, I'd say so. Probably the last 5 minutes will be a little bit sketchy in these cars. If you're really pushing them, it depends on how the tyre model has advanced since I last drove it. But when I started getting into racing this car in a different series, the tyres would be completely gone at the front in the last 5 minutes. You'd have people just understeering all over the place. The pace would be completely gone. But at the same time, you could definitely tell those that had saved their tyres because they were about a second a lap quicker than you. Even just a couple of percent, just saving the wear bit by bit every few minutes would help so much, because the tyres, obviously being front wheel drive, they build up so much temperature in the fronts because those poor front tyres are doing everything with this car really. The rears are just hanging on and it's very easy to overwork them, and once you have overworked them that little bit, it's very difficult to get them back because the car is relying solely on them.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's because actually they've got just over 350 horsepower, and as we know, 350 horsepower in a front-wheel drive car, that is a lot for the front wheels to deal with. So yeah, you're absolutely spot on. And I guess here at Imola today, we haven't had a look at the track temperature, but I'm imagining it's pretty high. It usually is here, so that might be having an effect. We saw Damien Harris charging hard early on in the first race, then dropping off slightly in the last stages, and had to cool them off again. But we'll see. Maybe, but the reason why I ask is I wonder if Van Putten is maybe beating the life out of his tyres, getting up to the back of Guinness, and will he have enough left for the end of the race? We shall have to wait and see. And also, will the presence of Van Putten here in the 23 car, will that have given Guinness the hurry up? It might well have done.
Very true indeed. It could have easily just got into his head a little bit. It's one of the main things in motorsport. It is all about mental capacity and mind games a lot of the time. As we've got Vijbicki trying to get past Mats Borg Andersen. He's gained 20 places in this race, and Fraser Smith has gained 22. These two are absolutely flying. Although I must say, Taylor Lane has gained 23 positions in this race. So he is moving, you could say, fiercely forward.
Indeed, he is. You can never accuse Taylor Lane of not being on brand, that's for sure. He's always full attack, full excitement. We love having Taylor racing with us because he's always exciting to watch. And I have to say, I don't know if it's a new addition for the SRW TCR series, but I have to say I love these Cherry Cola themed fiercely forward cars. They look fantastic, actually. They look really, really good. As well as we see Mats Borg Andersen, well, he doesn't want to share 6th place. In fact, he wants to hold 20 nuggets for himself. Yeah, that means you can vote for me too. You do it on your iPad or something, it's fine. If you voted for Chaz on one device, vote for me on the other. Get your wife to vote, or whatever.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, there you go. See, there you go. I was in the Apple store the other day just pressing buttons.
Ollie Slade,
kidding, but not really.
Ollie Slade in chat saying, "Did someone say fiercely forward?" We did, mate. We did. We were just Peter was complimenting your wonderful
nominated. It's fiercely forward.
Yes, yeah. VCO Simi Award Newcomer of the Year nominated fiercely forward. Love that. Good to see it, boys. Fantastic achievement. And to be honest, if Vijbicki can hold this against Andersen, it'll be a fantastic achievement because he's had to try so hard to do it. He gets ahead before the braking zone. Now what's Matt's going to do? Looked like he was a little bit later on the brakes there, sneaking up to the back of the Ignium Motorsport machine. I still, of course, have Vijbicki down as a privateer on the overlay for some reason. I do apologise, mate. But still, nice little move there. Fraser Smith now behind, and look at that in the background. Ashley Gaffall with Jessica Myers all over the back of him. He's going to be defending very hard soon. And of course, Peter, this is for the lead in the consistency class.
Absolutely. And yeah, Jess has been in feisty mood today, hasn't she? And Neil Stephenson's ploughed into the wall. Has he giving help? No, just the way it. Oh, gets all kinds of loose over the curbs at Tamburello, and biff. There's that'll bend the ring in that one. So that wasn't intentional. Sorry, that came out.
Run. Right, Corentin Guinness is now only half a second ahead of Bram Van Putten. But we know how good Bram is in the latter stages of the race. He's shown that that's his time. He can hold back and he just plays the game right, to be honest. But I think, if anything, Corentin can hold the pace for the whole race. He seems to be the more consistent of the two, but Bram Van Putten just seems to be able to turn it on from time to time. We'll look back, see what the slipstream is like as they come down the not-so-straight here at Imola. Now, as he climbs up over 120 miles an hour, you can see them hugging the wall, trying to straight line this part of the circuit as much as possible. Guinness does his personal best, only 10 thousandths of a second faster than Van Putten, and Freitas does his personal best now as well. So forget what I said about the tyres going off around the 15-minute mark. These guys are starting to put in personal bests here, Peter. This is excellent pace.
Yeah, they certainly are. Yep, it's Mats Borg Anderson looking to make a move on. Where's Bicky? And where's Bicky? Very clever, just covers it off there. Brilliant race. Oh, dearie me. That car's getting all slow down penalty. Slow down penalty. Look at that. Mats Borg Anderson having to pull over, and Fraser Smith goes, "Thank you, cheery bye. That was very kind of you." Early Christmas present. First day of Advent calendars today. That's like getting the big bonus, like 25th of December one on day one. That was a good one.
Yeah, big fan of that. Big fan indeed. Do love an Advent calendar, but I'm on a diet and I can't eat sugar. Brilliant.
Have you seen the Porsche Advent calendar?
I've not, but that makes me want one, just those three words together.
I think it's, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's like a different toy car every day. It sounds reassuringly expensive, that's for sure. But
as long as it's not a real Porsche every day, that'd be expensive.
Oh, then that'd be but that's for Premiership footballers.
Oh, love it. Right then, who's closest on track? It's one of the Flemish cars with Mark Woodhouse here. This is Anton Dupin. I thought it was Anton and his teammates. Keanu Bourguignon is next car back. Mark Woodhouse. In all honesty, one of the greatest drivers I've raced against, Mark. You can always have door-to-door racing with him. And 9.9 times out of 10, it will be some insanely side-by-side clean racing. Oh, very competitive stuff as well. Anton Dupin all over him. Anton, another fantastic racer to watch on Simracersworld TV. We've seen him in a lot of leagues for Flemish Sim Sports. He's also taking part in the Virtual Bell Car Winter Series as well, which has been, well, sort of inaugurated, you could say. Oh, he's trying so hard through Ackerman and Harley. It's just one of those corners, isn't it? You can see the body language of the car. When someone's struggling to get it turned in for that second part, you just feel the pain of it, don't you?
Oh, I mean, the understeer management through there is just horrible. And, of course, here, that's a corner where you've really got to tell yourself not to overdrive. It's a bit of a slow-in, fast-out job there. I mean, you think you can carry the speed, and you never can. And the off-track cutoff is very, very tight on the outside as well. So you've got to be super careful to not pick up too many incident points there as well. It's very easy to do so. So yeah, I tell you what, it's great fun when you come around here in an LMP1 car in the Porsche 4-wheel drive, go down the gears, then just point it up, and then you hit the boost button and it just catapults out. You can get away with it in one of those, but not in a touring car.
It's very true indeed. Very true. It's easy to get it wrong as well. You can easily just overdo it, get on the throttle a little bit early, and the car will just straight line, and it's a real pig. It's a proper pig sometimes, this Audi, I must say. But when you're patient with it, sorry, go on.
Right, no, go on.
I was just going to say, when you're patient with it, it's very enjoyable to drive. It's a very rewarding car, but you really do have to have patience in just learning how it behaves if you're not used to front-wheel drive cars. As look at that, Van Putten has, I think he must have had a slowdown there at the Variante Alta, because he has lost 1.4 seconds from what he had on Guinness. So that may have been the straw that broke the camel's back there, because the slipstream is well and truly gone now.
Yeah, it's going to require a mistake from Guinness now, which are collector's items in themselves. So, Yeah, that costly mistake. But Van Putten had to push really hard to catch up to the back of Guinness, and that's definitely paid to his chances unless Guinness makes a mistake. But no, what I was going to say was, Chaz, is speaking of, you had a wee win over the weekend, didn't you? In fact, we both had a win over the weekend.
We did indeed. But I've already bored people enough with going on about mine, to be honest. But yes,
Not me.
I won an MX-5 race. Simple as that. In the Sunday Drivers MX-5 Cup, of course, which we broadcast here on Simracersworld TV, I very deeply upset Jack Werrell and Edward May in the commentary box as I actually put in some sort of performance they thought I'd actually got somebody else in to drive, because it was very out of character for me to win a race. It's been nearly 5 years, and I managed to get it done. Somehow, I was racing against Dan Mould of Simulation Racing Leagues, and it was an incredibly respectful battle. He wasn't too pleased with all of it, but either way, no one's going to be when we're making contact that much. But someone that's hoping they're not going to be making contact that much is Fraser Smith, who's on the grass, and he's got a big slide on. He smacked the curb, and Vizbicki is off over the horizon.
Oh, and unfortunately, that's held up Borg Anderson, who's going, oh, I'm stuck. He's stuck behind Smith now, and that's, as you say, Chaz, that's allowed Vizbicki to carry away. Now, I had an equally rare triumph at the weekend as well. I was racing in the iRace for Movember for Porsche Sport in a LMP1 Porsche 919 hybrid at Le Mans, and I was racing with a former British touring car driver, Mike Epps, and it was very much a pro-am effort, as you can tell. And Mike's pace was absolutely exceptional. And we were basically on the voice chat the whole time. And when he was driving, we were just sort of chatting about, nonsense, really, talking about racing and what have you. And he's driving at lap record pace while having an idle chat with me. When I was driving, it was very much a one-on-one coaching session. But we managed to win. I couldn't believe it.
Congrats, mate. Big congrats indeed.
Oh, that's unfair.
To be fair, Mats Borg Anderson's waiting for Fraser. That's nice. Yeah. It's just one of those horrible moments, isn't it? You try and get a slight cutback on your rival. Look, you can just see he tries to turn for the apex, and just as Fraser's car slows down across his nose, there's a tiny bit of contact. Further up the order, though, we've not got too long left for Corentin Guinez, who, by the look of it, touch wood, is going to take another race victory for his tally here, Peter.
Yeah, he's been exceptional this evening. I mean, to break away from someone of Bram Van Putten's quality is extraordinary stuff. And, he did it in a battle in race 1. He's doing it here with a really inspired drive out front. He'll have to do it another way again in race 3, of course. He'll start from 10th position, so he'll have to get his elbows out, and I'm sure he will. He has just been an exceptional star in this series, and we can't praise him enough, can we? It's been superb.
It really has. 2 more corners to go for the 333 machine. HM Engineering's Corentin Guinez is going to take another win in the Z1 dashboard at Simracersworld TCR Series. A flash of the lights, a weave across the line, another beautiful performance. Bram Van Putten, though, take your hat off. Great drive, mate. Great drive indeed. More points. Miguel Freitas gets a podium. He'll be very pleased. And his Team Mad teammate, Chris Wood, just ahead of Matthew Crisp. With Nikodem Vizbicki, 21 places gained. What a brilliant drive. And no. Fraser Smith gets another drive-through on the last lap of the race after gaining 23 positions. What an absolute nightmare. Someone else, though, that has gained 23 places, and it'll be 24 if he gets there soon enough, is Taylor Lane. What a brilliant performance. Daniele Giudici wins the Academy class in 11th. Ashley Gaffal wins the Consistency class in 8th. Some amazing drives in that one, to be honest, Peter. That was a really good show. And, Niles de Kuiper, unfortunately, loses out right on the line.
What a pity. And I tell you what, Fraser Smith, he must be unhappy. The two drive-throughs tonight, and of course he won't get the reverse grid now either. So he's got a long old drag to the line in race 3 as well. So it's been a tough night for Fraser Smith, and that might put paid to any outside chance of the championship for him. But Corentin Guinez, he is establishing his dominance so far. But race 3, anything can happen, and it usually does.
Will indeed. And that is the end of that one then. But wow, what a great pair of races so far to start our evening off. Corentin Guinez takes 2 wins once again. We'll just take you through the results then, race by race. We'll go over the first race first, where of course Corentin Guinez only won by 0.3 of a second, with Damien Harris right up there in 3rd place as well. Then we had Miguel Freitas in 4th, Matthias Tige in 5th, and Ben Thayens in 6th. Then it was Chris Wood 7th ahead of Matthew Crisp. Keanu Bourguignon was 9th, and Gregory Branks was 10th. And obviously a lot of those drivers taken out by that huge accident. In race 2, Mark Woodhouse finished 11th, with Anton Dupin winning the consistency class ahead of Mats Borg Anderson. Brown class and Scott Malcolm 3rd in consistency. Ashley Gaffall in 16th place. Daniele Giudici took a win in Academy in the first race as well, with Jessica Myers 18th. Behind her was Neil Stevenson and Jürgen Knockout rounding out your top 20. And it's now as de Kuiper and Ryan Walker, with Jason Rowe and Ross Nicholson 23rd and 24th. We then had Jack Taylor in his first race in the championship in 25th ahead of Michael Blake, Nikodem Verzbicki and Craig Schill, with Naveed Hussein and Fraser Smith rounding out your top 30. Then it was Paul King and Niels Manshanden for Newman Motorsport in 31st and 32nd ahead of Joachim Gulbranson, Rob Jackson and Scotty Angelo, with Taylor Lane unfortunately not finishing the race. And Peter, if you'd be so kind, we've got race 2 results. Or, bear with me, we will have. There we go.
They are, yeah. So Corentin Guinez winning by, well, in touring car terms, a postcode, 2.5 seconds from Bram Van Putten, with Miguel Freitas 3rd. Chris Wood was 4th, with Matthew Crisp for Fiercely Forward in 5th position. Nikodem Verzbicki finished in 6th, with Mats Borg Anderson in 7th. Ashley Gaffall winning the class there, with Jess Myers and Scott Malcolm rounding out the top 10. Daniele Guidici winning his class, with Taylor Lane, Michael Blake, Jason Rowe, Paul King, Neil Manshanden, Ross Nicholson and Niels de Kuiper rounding out the top 18, with Rob Jackson, Anton Dupin, Mark Woodhouse, Neil Stevenson, Fraser Smith, Keanu Bourguignon, Craig Schill, Ryan Walker, Scotty Angelo, Gregory Branks, Joachim Gulbranson and Ben Thanes rounding out the top 30. And finally, Jochen Neukert, Damien Harris. Unfortunately, Damien we lost early on with what we suspect to be a technical issue. Bram Clays was 33rd. And finally, Matthias Tige, Naveed Hussein and Jack Taylor round out our 36-strong grid.
Indeed they do. And once again, we've seen some fantastic racing so far. We've got cars out on track for the warm-up session, which will go on just between these 2 sessions. And it's at this point that Peter and I will be just leaving you for a few minutes just to grab a quick drink and just have a quick break, I should say. And we'll be back with you in just a few minutes.
Hello again, everybody. Thank you very much for your patience there, while Peter and I just take a quick break. Wow, I think we needed that, to be honest, Peter. We knew that the racing was going to be fantastic around here, but other than that incident that we saw, obviously, which apparently was a VR failure for Damien Harris, which is a real shame, it was just some fantastic door-to-door, proper touring car stuff.
It was, yeah. VR failure. That sounds rather unpleasant, actually. Did it just switch off, or did it switched off before he hit the wall? Because that would have given him the fright of his life.
Yeah, it would. It would indeed. Yeah.
Do you like VR? I've tried it once and I felt royally ill.
It's very strange, actually. I must admit, I've tried to get used to VR. Now, I think because I've done flight sims in VR and I've done sim racing in VR. I have a VR headset myself, never use it for sim racing, but I use it for a lot of other stuff. In a flight sim, I feel absolutely fine, because I think that because you're not feeling the actual forces exerted, but your brain is being tricked into thinking you're there, I feel like because you've got this weightless feeling that it's normal when you're up there in the air, which I know it's not correct, because you do feel heavy G forces and negative G and things like that, but your brain can sort of cope with that a bit better. I think behind the wheel of a car, I know what forces to expect. So when I'm braking heavily, I've noticed that is when it affects me, because I expect to be pushed forward, but I'm just not. I'm sat exactly where I was. And especially when you stop as well, you expect that final little jolt forward to just come to a stop, and it never happens. And I think that in sim racing, because you expect the forces a bit more, it messes with your head a little bit, I think. That's my way of looking at it anyway, but I do enjoy it. I mean, VR, things like Beat Saber and other games, you know, me and the missus love that sort of stuff. But yeah, sim racing, it's just never really clicked with me, I'm afraid. And I always feel that you can see a little bit more on triples anyway, without moving your head.
Is there ever the debate, do you go for a triple screen wraparound, or do you go for the VR? I have to say, I've got just a single screen on the television, and it's I have to say it does it really makes a difference not having the peripheral vision. There's a lot of time you're going, is he alongside me? Is he not? So if I've ever put you off, anyone listening there, I'm really sorry. It's because I've not got fancy triple screens like Chaz.
To be honest, I barely ever use them for driving. I may do some more driving this evening, to be honest, but I'm not sure. You get the bug again.
More MX5 races, you know.
Which you never know. But yeah, well, you get the bug for it again when you get back driving. I haven't done any driving on iRacing in a good 6 months, I'd like to say, probably more than that. And then yeah, to go out and do that was quite exciting on Sunday. So I think I've got the bug again. But these guys, you know, they do it a lot more often than us, and the level that we've seen in this championship so far, not just from Corentin Guinez, but everyone else out on track. I mean, these Ignium cars, they've got a spread all over the field, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They've turned up with a really good squad for this championship, and long may it continue. Of course, we're going to be TCR racing all the way into the new year and a new season, so that's all very exciting. And tell you what, it's a really exciting time for sim racing as well, given the year that we've had. It's a lot of new converts really getting the hang of it now.
They are indeed, and we have a reverse grid, Peter, if you would be so kind to do the honours, buddy.
Oh, with pleasure. And there's a Scotsman on pole position, and that warms my heart. So Scott Malcolm from Falkirk, just up the road from me, with Jessica Myers in the Flying Corgi Mobile in second place. Ashley Gafall and Mats Borg Anderson are on row 2, with Nick and Nimweers, Beaky and Matthew Chris on row 3, followed by Chris Wood, Miguel Freitas, Bram Van Putten and Corentin Guinez are double race winners so far. Daniel Guidici and Taylor Lane start on the 6th row of the grid. On row 7 is...
There you go, sorry.
Mike Blake and Jason Rowe, with Paul King, Niels Manshadden, Ross Nicholson, and we're off.
We are indeed very quickly away here. Nobody hanging about. And Scott Malcolm holds the lead down towards turn 1. Can Jessica Myers turn around the bad luck of this season to try and get a win? She's had so many hampered results by other factors, really. And a couple of incidents. Oh, Mark Woodhouse, Keanu Bourguignon. We've got cars off at the back. There's a big check-up. There's a car around in the middle of the circuit. One of the Ignium cars was completely facing backwards. Bram Class has just gone off and he's come back on. Bit of argy-bargy in front of him. Just wanted to see the action from here, see who was going off and where.
But yeah, we have lost a few cars already, unfortunately. Mark Woodhouse, Keanu Bourguignon, Jack Taylor in his first round, and Craig Schill. But Scott Malcolm holds on to this lead for now, but look at the rabble trying to chase him down. That's got to be nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah, that's going to loom large in your mirror. That really is looking in your mirror on the M6 motorway in the outside lane. Just 15 Audi A3 saloons, 2-litre diesel, poverty spec, just absolutely door to door on the motorway on the public highway. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I like the phrase poverty spec. I always use that when somebody asks me what BMW I have. I just say it's a poverty spec 318 with the grey cloth interior and the 15-inch wheels. Oh, it's always a good one.
The 10 different radio station buttons.
Oh yeah, and it's got a tape player in it and everything. I know.
Nice.
Something that is nice is Corentin Guinez's progress here. He's ahead of Matthew Crisp. He's just side by side now with Miguel Freitas, but Bram Van Putten actually has got ahead. But now Corentin's trying to go with him. Ashley Gaffal's gone off the circuit, so has Vizbicki. He's definitely not scared of getting his elbows out, is he, Vizbicki? We've seen that already. There you go, have some of that, Miguel. Wow, feisty stuff.
Very feisty indeed, yes. And look, Bram Van Putten up to 4th place. Guinez in 6th, and here comes Jess Myers. Here she goes down towards Tamburello. Borg Anderson not far behind either does. Scott Malcolm, give the room, he does. Very fair, and then all of a sudden doesn't. Oh dear. Oh, just turned in, and well, the corner reveal was there, and Guinez is off. Oh, well spotted.
Miguel Freitas and Chris Wood coming together as well. I think there was a double touch there from the pair of them. Let's have another little look at what happened. It sounds like there was a bit more contact after that there. There was a bit of a suspect noise. Oh, so Chris Woods hit the curb, bounced over, then hit Guinez. And I think Miguel Freitas has smacked into his teammate as well. Let's have a quick look from on board with Miguel, if we can get there in time. No, you just see it's off to the left of your screen. Don't want to start revisiting this too much, but wow. Big contact there between those pair. Bram Van Putten has now just got past Jessica Myers. Jess will be feeling a little bit annoyed about the contact, but in my opinion, I think Scott was trying to leave room, but then just not enough on the apex, I'm afraid. He's still in 4th place, though. He's actually held position very well there. He's just ahead of Corentin Guinez, who somehow, during that incident, didn't lose a position.
Yeah, I think he actually just had to bail out there and just go onto the grass to avoid any more problems, and managed to keep it out. Managed to keep it out the wall. And I wonder if that little tap between, well, I say a little tap, significant contact between Scott Malcolm and Jess Myers kind of set off a bit of a domino chain reaction. And Guinez, I don't think he's enjoying the look of the back of the 74 car of Scott Malcolm. Goes to have a look at the inside, and Scott will care not a jot about Corentin's championship aspirations. You've got to take every place. You've got to earn every position, but this is dreamland for Bram Van Putten right now. He's up to 2nd with Mats Borg Anderson. There goes Guinez, so he's going to move up into 4th spot, it would appear. He's got a good run on Scott Malcolm. Van Putten puts in the fastest lap of the race. First flying lap, anyway. Jess Meyer still in 3rd, so this is an intriguing little battle here. But Guinez, oh, big hop over the curb. Wow, that got out of shape. Guinez is not having it all his own way, but I think, given that we've only had 2 laps, for him to be up to 4th already is pretty happy. It's Fraser Smith. Oh, his bad luck continues and he's off track.
Yeah, I think he just had a bit of a moment there and ran over the curb, bounced the car in the air. Now Bram Van Putten is in the race lead. Wonderful job by Bram. I just want to go back and have a look at the contact with Scott Malcolm here. If we go and have a look from Corentin Guinez's point of view, maybe we get a chopper cam on this just to see the effect. There's Chris Ward, bang, there's Miguel Freitas. Now Niels Manshanden went off in this somewhere as well. Oh, that rejoin by Wisbicki was questionable. Whoa, that's a scary moment there from Taylor Lane, just trying to get out of the way. Look at them all, they're all just trying to dive out of the way, make sure they don't make contact, and there is contact, and there goes Manshanden off to the left.
Oh, big one there for Niels Manshanden. It's been a pretty heavy. Oh, and Taylor Lane's off in the other fiercely forward Cherry Cola car.
Yeah, Taylor Lane's gone off. Jason Rowe's gone off. Surely these two come together. Oh, Jason's turned in very late. That was a hefty one, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, look at that. You can see the boot being pushed in there as well. That's well, Taylor Lane. He's never short of excitement, that's for sure, and that's probably not the excitement he was looking for. Nevertheless, Bram Van Putten is up into the lead. He's got past Mats Borg Anderson. Jess Meyer's still in third. Where is Gwyneth? It's just circling around. Guinez is there. He's in, once it all, yeah, we go, fourth position. But Van Putten has got an opportunity here to try and regain some positions. But really, you've got to expect that Guinez could get up to second place. But Van Putten is doing exactly what he needs to do in this reverse grid race.
Yeah, exactly. He's just driving what he needs to and trying to break away. He's only just a quarter of a second ahead of Mats Borg Anderson, so he's trying. Oh, Fraser Smith's off again. So is Gregory Rank somewhere in this. Oh, he's completely backwards there. That wasn't quite what I was expecting to see. Let's have a look here. Fraser and Gregory both came on and off circuit. Oh, he got hit in the rear, lost it, and then Gregory's going to get a tap of his own there. I think Gregory got turned around. Let's have a look. So he taps Taylor. I think Niles de Kuiper's going to go down the inside. Oh, and he got a double tap there as well. Two cars. Oh, big hit. And around he goes, I'm afraid. Now, it's got interesting here because he's now in this beehive of Audis.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the YouTube chat there, and Taylor Lane, he is less than impressed about that particular incident. And to be fair, you can't really blame him. I can understand that. It must be very frustrating for him.
Oh, as Fraser's got into
bang.
Scotty Angelo. No, it's Neil Stevenson. Apologies, Neil. Gets a tap there. I think Neil went a little bit hot, and then Fraser also went hot as well. Made contact.
How many ladders did Fraser Smith walk under on the way to his rig earlier on?
Really?
He just seems to be trouble just following him around today here at Imola.
Yeah, he's just cursed, isn't he, at this point? Miguel Freitas now trying to climb back up the order as well. That's down the inside of Ross Nicholson. Very close stuff between those two. And now Anton Dupin tries to get on this as well. There's a bit of a gap there. Closes up very quickly. Oh, Gregory Vranks is going down the order, of course. He's now showing us out of the race, actually. He's completely disappeared. Ryan Walker's in the pit lane and going down the order as well. Now, Vizbicki is fighting with the number 97 and Matthew Crisp at door-to-door there as well through Tamburello. Oof. There's just... These final races, no one wants to give an inch, do they?
No, they're always very, very exciting. They're a great idea, the reverse grid racing. It always adds to the spice of the evening, and it means that to win the championship, you've got to be the complete driver. We talk about this all the time in the Porsche Club of Great Britain, where they do race 1 is 20 minutes in qualifying order, and race 2 is 20 minutes in complete reverse grid. So the winner has to start all the way at the back. And as we've seen, the reason why Ryan Parkins won the championship last season and is in looking good for the championship this season, it's down to his reverse grid race performances, staying out of trouble and picking his way through cleanly through the pack, and that shows that he is the proper complete driver. And so far Corentin Guinez has actually been able to do the same more or less in this Simracersworld TCR championship.
He is indeed. The thing is, it's so hard to stand out in a field like this, isn't it? When you've got such great quality. As down the inside goes Corentin Guinez. Beautiful stuff. Another one to tick off his list. They both run very wide on the exit there in unison. But back to this. Paul King has got Miguel Freitas, Ross Nicholson, Anton Dupin, and everyone else behind him. Bit of a queue here on the end of the top 10, I should say. Get your words out. Daniele Giudici, by the way, just ahead of this. He's leading the academy class again.
Doing a mega job, isn't he? Yeah, he's the number 4 at his home race here at Imola. A most amazing circuit, and it's brilliant to see that it's going to come back to the came back to the Formula One calendar again. It's brilliant to see the circuit finally shaking off that slightly dark reputation, unfortunately, from that horrible weekend in 1994 when we lost Roland Ratzenberger and, of course, the great Ayrton Senna. But it's a super place to go motor racing.
It is indeed.
certainly a lot of fun. Now, just keeping our eye on Daniele Giudici, because I'm not sure if that train behind is starting to catch up with him or not. Doesn't look like it that much at the moment. It seems quite stale there. Seems like quite a stalemate. It's more this battle behind now, isn't it? I think with these guys battling as Paul King smacks into the back of Michael Blake on the brakes. To be fair, Peter, I think we'd be lying if we said that wasn't the first time we saw that there. Or it was the first time, I should say.
I think you tempted the fate there by saying the battle was stale. I highly doubt it. There's not much stale here about the battling here in the Simracersworld TCR series, but it's all go here. And well, Miguel Freitas, it's been a bit of a rude awakening for the defending champion, hasn't it? He's gone, God, where did all these guys come from? This is my championship.
Yeah, some of these guys will be probably just wondering what's happened, because when you go from one season you're doing so well to go into the next season of something when you've not really changed anything other than brought different drivers in, it's just crazy. You know, it can be very frustrating, and you know you feel more hard pushed to improve. And I think if anything, you know, Miguel's still shown that he's very quick. It's just, I think the quality of the guys that he's up against is just absolutely amazing. If they can perform as they do, oh, look at that. Now that is tasty stuff. Real nice cutback there. Down the inside he goes. Love it. Lovely stuff once again.
Oh, that was classy, wasn't it? That was so classy. Not a hint of contact, and just, yeah, pure cunning there from Miguel Freitas. But Bram van Putten, this has been more like it, hasn't it? He's had to, again, 2 races following Correntinguina's home, a site, unfortunately, he's become all too familiar with. And this has been much more like it. Got through the pack quickly, and it just pulled out a lead. And Guinness has not caught up with Borg Anderson yet, so Guinness could finish 3rd. And yeah, Guinness is a long way back, so it's going to take quite a bit for Guinness to get 2nd. So that means that Bram van Putten once again is still he's just hanging on by his fingernails, isn't he? There's just he wants to be there. If as soon as Guinness trips up, if he trips up, he's there to capitalise.
He is indeed. Now, someone that's definitely not going to want to trip up is Daniele Giudici, with all of this rabble behind him once again. It's pretty crazy that he's managing to hold on now, because I think Michael Blake, he's going to start trying to launch an attack, but this is the thing, when you're in a battle like this, say you're Paul King right now, you've got to be so careful on trying to make an attack in case the car behind wants to capitalise on it, haven't you?
Yeah, indeed. And yeah, like you mentioned earlier, Giudici doing an amazing job, given he's in the academy class and there's not anyone else in his class in the top 20. And he's an 8th right now, which is just exceptional stuff. But here comes Freitas down the inside. Whoa, must have got a really good run there out of Ravazza. And he's now onto the back of Giudici. And yeah, for Giudici to see the man with the number 1 plate on the side of his car signifying the defending champion, he's probably going to be pretty happy with his performance regardless.
Yeah, definitely. You know, some of these guys, they do get given the advantage of the reverse grid sometimes, but it's the drivers that can stay up there and hold on that do the really good jobs of it. But don't forget, Daniele started outside the top 11. There's another hit on Michael Blake from Paul King. Michael certainly won't be sending him a Christmas card anytime soon. But now, of course, that means that Ross Nicholson, who's teammates with Daniele Giudici at the very front of this train, is now on the back of Paul. And he's very much in a sandwich with Anton Dupin just behind him. And then at the back of this, Damien Owen Harris has gained 18 positions. Naveed Hussein's gained 19. Matthias de Tige has gained 16. Jack Taylor, in his first race meeting in the series, has gained 14 places to 22nd. What a good job that is.
A fantastic effort, yeah, from Jack Taylor and the next gen racing machine. Do you know that I have to agree with you. I really do like that livery. It's kind of halfway between a Team Dynamics Halford's livery from a few years ago in the Neil versus Plato days, or perhaps even a Tom Ingram Speedworks Toyota Aventus kind of feel to it there. Is that? Oh, who's that going off? Is that Rob Jackson going off there?
I think it was, yeah. You had a little excursion up Aqua Minerale, unfortunately.
But he manages to get it back on circuit, and that's another position for Jack Taylor. There's been a swap as Miguel Freitas has finally got past Daniele Gudici. He's the first one, and he opens the floodgates by the look of it coming onto the straight. We've got just under 5 minutes to go, and I think that this is going to turn into a spicy battle now. But Gudici needs to be careful here because he's leading the academy class by a long old way. If we just scroll down a little bit, the next academy driver is Jack Taylor in 21st place. So he's right up there. And for the championship, that's important, really.
That Depan having a spare. Oh, I tell you what, Depan had that Audi absolutely broadside like Walter Roll on a rally stage there. I wonder if we could get a replay of that. He lost. I think he maybe hit the grass under the brakes, and Depan, crunch. Oh dear.
Now he's lost it.
Oh, now he's lost it. Yeah, he's gone and done it now. Oof.
Scott Malcolm damaged as well. Let's have a quick look at when Daniele Gudici and Michael Blake swapped over. That's just after it. Apologies. Okay, we'll see it here. So Anton Dupin having a moment into turn 1, and then we'll stay with him and see what happened with Scott Malcolm after that. Look at that, 3 wide down the straight. Love that. That's Paul King fighting his way through the middle. So Anton, he gets on the grass, doesn't he? Big slide. Love that. Wonderful.
Oh, brilliant. That's a good cinematography opportunity there. You can that's a Christmas card, full oversteer. Brilliant.
Now we'll see what happened with Scott as they go into the Villeneuve chicane. Oh, side to side contact. And whoa. Okay. Something's gone wrong there for Anton. Again, looks like a hardware failure. That just straight lines it.
Strange. Maybe broke the suspension, possibly, because it looked like he was all of a sudden in control until the contact was made. But woof. I mean, this is dearie me. Naveed Hussein's getting all kinds of squirrely there in the background. Just got onto the grass there at Ravazza, but Damien Harris is keeping his nose clean more or less. So is Gudici as well. Although he's dropped to 11th, he's dropped quite a few other guys as well. Oof. This is what you get at Imola, though. Imola is always promotes pretty ferocious racing.
Yeah, it does. Really brings out the angry side in a lot of these drivers, doesn't it? Look at this contact from Damien Harris and Ross Nicholson. Oh, get over them sleeping policemen, mate. That's not going to help. They may be the same colour as a fiercely forward car, but they certainly don't help it. And now, here comes number 11, Keanu Bourguignon for Flemish Sim Sports. The light's fading here as well at Imola. It's getting quite dark. Oh, nearly a bit of a touch. I think there was a sound effect of it. Naveed Hussein tries to go through as well. It's a nice little battle, bit of a switch from one side to the other. Onto the brakes, Matthias de Tige looking to try and come through as well. Biggest mover in the field so far as well, Naveed Hussein. He's gained 20 positions. As up the hill they go once more. Bram van Putten's lead over Mats Borg Andersen is now 3.7 seconds at the front. But we'll stick with this and just see what happens here.
It's interesting, Chaz. You say where the sun is starting to set here on Imola, but for Audi drivers, it won't be necessarily a problem. It could be pitch dark, and they'll still leave their daytime running lights on. That's enough, isn't it?
I'd say so. If you're an Audi driver, then yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They drive around thinking, yeah, that'll do. Oh, it
fine. Yeah, that's bound to go me the way.
Boils my blood, that. I'm getting angry. I'm gripping my mouse a little bit harder. Bram van Putten, though, is about to start his final lap of the race. I hope he's not gripping his mouse, because if he's driving on a keyboard and mouse, he's doing a really good job of it. But the G-Drive car, once he's ahead of Corentin Guinez in terms of the grid, he just seems to be able to use that to his advantage really, really well. I think Corentin, though, I mean, he's on for another podium, let's face it. He's done an amazing job to get up there with the contact he had before. It's just, he's just a little reserved to go after the championship points. I mean, he's doing the right thing for the championship, but he's just not quite as attacky, if that's a adjective, as Bram van Putten.
Yeah, I think it's he's in the luxurious position where he doesn't have to take big risks. Bram van Putten really does. If he wants to win the championship, Bram's really got to just go for absolutely everything right now. Whereas Corentin's been able to, and he's earned it the hard way as well. It's not as if he's had it easy, far, far from it. He's had Van Putten on his back every single race, pretty much. And Guinez is now, I think he's played this race really clever. He had a bit of a scare earlier on trying to avoid others' incidents, and I think that's maybe just caused him to just back off a little bit and he's going to grab a good bag of points. And Bram Van Putten's going to get a bit of an edge on him, but it's going to take more than this for Guinness to throw away the championship.
Yeah, indeed. He seems to be quite an unstoppable force at the moment. Maybe not in race wins, but he's got plenty of them to his name anyway. But Bram Van Putten has certainly put in a good performance here, you could say. That's not going to end, I'm sorry, Bram. Into the final couple of corners then. And it's looking like we have 2 race winners in 3 races today. Bram Van Putten, the Dutchman for G-Drive Racing Eximia, rounds the final corner, and he will be delighted to take round 12 of the Z1 Dashboard Simracersworld TCR Series. Great drive. Awesome stuff. Mats Borg Anderson, second place. What a drive in the Sharebox TC Motorsport car. Corentin Guinez, another podium for his record. And Nikodem Vizbicki rounds out a very productive evening ahead of Matthew Crisp. And Jessica Myers finally turns the curse around. 6th place is good for quite a lot of points there, Peter.
Yeah, and a class win too. Brilliant stuff in the consistency class. Brilliant stuff there from Jess. Ages out Ashley Gaffal in 8th overall. So brilliant job from Jess in the flying Corgi Mobile. We like that car here on the broadcast. And now is Gudici have we got Gudici over the line? I think we have.
We do, yes. Yeah, Gudici has crossed the line.
Winner in Academy. Brilliant drive from the Italian.
I was just going to say as well, Jack Taylor, 2nd place in Academy. He can be very pleased with that on his first night in the series, inside the top 20. 17 places gained in that final race. What a brilliant drive from the newcomer. He'll certainly be happy with that one. Here's Chris Wood in 22nd place. Not quite the result he was after. Bit of an argy-bargy race from some of them. This is Niels Manchanden just going around the final corner now, right behind Niles de Kuiper, who was slowed down. Not sure whether that was intentional or not, or whether he has a slowdown penalty. But there we go. Another brilliant race under our belts here in the Simracersworld TCR Series. And to be honest, another amazing meeting. But Corentin Guinez has certainly stamped his authority on this championship once again, hasn't he?
Oh, he certainly has. Yeah, it's look at that, flashing his lights at Bram Van Putten there. Anything can happen in touring car racing. It's far from done for Corentin Guinez, and as we've seen, nobody is immune to an incident. I mean, just look at, poor old Fraser Smith. What a horrible night he's had now. And some of it you could say it was him, some of it you could say wasn't. That's up to opinion. But at the end of the day, he comes home with very, very few points from Imola, and the same thing could happen to Guinez very, very easily. So it's never over till it's done. But Corentin Guinez is just, he's knocking back any challenges, isn't he? He's everything that comes his way. He's hitting it over the grandstand.
Yeah, really is. But unfortunately, Bram Van Putten just took that final race win away from him. In that
the treble has eluded him, hasn't he? He hasn't done the treble. I'm sure he wants that before the end of the season.
Yes, indeed. Sorry, I've just had an issue with my overlay on this, and there we go. All good. I just thought we weren't going to get the results then, which would have been a very big shame. But Bram Van Putten wins the final race of the evening ahead of Mats Borg Anderson and Corentin Guinez. Nikodem Vizbicki in 4th with Matthew Crisp in 5th. As we said, Jessica Myers in 6th, wins the consistency class ahead of reigning champion Miguel Freitas. Ashley Gaffal is 8th with Paul King in 9th and Michael Blake in 10th. Daniele Giudici, 3 wins out of 3 tonight in the Academy class. Fantastic stuff ahead of Damien Harris. Great recovery from him. Keanu Bourguignon 13th, Naveed Hussein in 14th. I think he was the biggest mover. 21 places gained he was. Then we have Ross Nicholson and Matthias Tatij with Jason Rowe and Bram Klass, followed by Jack Taylor, 2nd in the Academy class ahead of Rob Jackson, who rounds out your top 20. Then we have Scott Malcolm and Chris Wood with Niels Manchanden and Niles de Kuiper in 24th. Joachim Gulbrandsen 25th ahead of Jürgen Knockaert 26th. Then it's Mark Woodhouse. Craig Schill is a lap down with Anton Dupin 3 laps down. Neil Stevenson 7 laps down. All of these drivers 8 laps down. Gregory Vranks, Fraser Smith and Ryan Walker. We also lost Taylor Lane, Ben Thanes and Scotty Angelo from that race. Bit of an attritional one, that 3rd race, but it usually is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's classic race 3 reverse grid, and classic Imola as well. The Imola factor has certainly played a part here. It is such a tough circuit, and so many chicanes where it really bottlenecks, so the drivers can be led into moves, and then all of a sudden the door just shuts. And we saw a lot of that tonight as well. So definitely a battle of attrition, but Corentin Guinez has got through it, well, more than survived, 2 wins and a 3rd place, and again just tightens his grip on that championship.
Does indeed. Now we'll have a quick look and see whether we've got anybody that wants to jump in for a quick interview. And to be honest, very fittingly, I'm very, very pleased to say that we have Daniele Giudici in the chat with us. Daniele, 3 class wins tonight, mate. You must be over the moon with that. What a great night.
I am exhausted, my man. I can't believe it, I have to be honest. Especially race 3, being with all the top guys, has been absolutely something. And I'm so happy as being after a really challenging time at work last week, due to all we know were happening. So I'm really, really pleased with that.
Well, we're very pleased for you, mate. It was a fantastic run. And to be honest, I mean, there were moments in that race, we caught a lot of it on air as well. You had a huge train of cars behind you. Did you notice that it was such a big train, or did you just see it as, right, there's one guy behind me, let's just look forward?
No. I saw the train. I was kind of, oh crap, I need to start picking up the pace. I can't have the train behind me. I need to start running. And then I made a little mistakes when Freitas was behind me to try and keep the pace up. But at least I managed to keep a couple of people behind me, which is not that bad. As I said, I'm not used to be in that position.
Well, it was certainly fun to watch, mate. And I mean, this car and track combo, we thought it'd be interesting. How was it from a driver's perspective, though? Was it enjoyable to race these cars here?
I loved it. I have to be honest, I really loved it. I know that the top guys didn't like the setup, but at least for me, it was really enjoyable. Plus, home ground, how can I say that? So, of course, I had to do a good result at home. Can't deny that.
Very true, very true. Now, I mean, for your team in the championship, SimSticker's having a couple of cars out there. It's always nice to have teammates in a series like this, because it can very easily feel like you're getting crowded out in the middle of the pack, can't it? But it seems like it's a bit of a mixed result so far from the team.
Yeah, I agree. Ross is having a bit of a streak of bad luck in general, a couple of silly contacts, and me,
agreed. I'm
doing my usual stuff, which is start getting a grip of the championship the first couple of races, and then progressing and developing from there. So let's hope for the best for the now. As I said, Ross has just been unlucky. He hasn't shown his true potential yet, so I'm just waiting for that, for him to come around.
Well, yeah, fingers crossed we see that, because it's been a lot of fun to see the development. I mean, me and Peter, we thrive on that. I mean, we commentate on another series where the drivers are all very new to sim racing. You know, they only got into sim racing due to lockdown, and to see development on that perspective is great. And I mentioned it during the broadcast. To see development from drivers in a series on this level as well is just as exciting. So well done from us, and obviously well done on 3 wins in class tonight. Do you want to give anybody a shout out before you go?
Well, first of all, my teammate Ross, because he's always pushing me to try to do my best. And the other shout is for the team, because Paul and the guys are always supporting me and pushing me to do the best. And general is a big thank you to all of you and for all your support, especially in these dire times. As for the NHS, we all thank you.
Smashing stuff. Well said, mate, and thank you for everything that you do as well. And good luck in the next round, and we'll see you there.
Finger crossed, man. See you soon.
Cheers.
And congratulations for getting finally my surname right.
It took me a long time, mate, but we got there. Thank you very much.
No worries. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Daniele Giudici, proper good character, really funny guy, lovely bloke as well. And also as well, he does work for the NHS as well. We raised a lot of money for charity for him recently in the Simracersworld Formula 3 series, and all round brilliant bloke. Another one that's had a pretty interesting night is Mats Borg Anderson, that joins us in the Sharebox TC Motorsport Audi. Second place in that last one, Mats. You must be very pleased with that.
Yeah, the third race today was really good. The 2 other ones, well, yeah.
Lively. That's a word me and Peter used to avoid saying chaotic.
I think that's described as really good.
Well, I've just asked Daniele the same thing, but I'd love to know sort of how different drivers find this. But this car, I mean, Peter mentioned before that it loves curbs, so you'd think it'd go well around here, but this is a circuit that really punishes understeer, isn't it?
Yeah, and the curbs here are really rough, so the car it's okay, but it's still bouncing around if you hit it just wrong and then you're way offline. So yeah, this is the race I really was not looking forward to, because I love the track, but I'm not fast at it. So yeah.
Well, you certainly put in a decent enough performance for second place, mate. And, you know, we were saying during the broadcast that it's all well and good having a reverse grid, but some drivers don't manage to stay up there in the top 10. But, you know, you certainly did that, and you've shown that you've got the pace to do it in the first 2 races as well. When it goes to the final 2 race meetings of the season, are you looking to be inside the top 10 in the championship? Because you're just outside that going into this race meeting. I think probably tonight's helped, but do you reckon you can get that top 10?
Yeah, hopefully I have more time to today. I was chaotic. I was at work until I got home 2 minutes before qualifying started, so not the best warm-up today. So hopefully Brands Hatch, I have a lot more time to test and to find out more. So yeah, I'm just going for at least top 10, and maybe if I'm really getting the pace down, pushing into top 5 hopefully.
Well, fingers crossed we can see you do just that, mate. Anybody you want to give a quick shout out to before you go?
Yeah, of course, our main sponsor, Sharebox, for sponsoring us and the team. And thanks to the guys in the team, especially Joachim, who is pushing me on lap times in his car. So thank you to all those guys.
Great stuff. Well, great to speak to you, Mats. Very well done tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers. Right then, Peter, I'm going to give you a choice now, but I think I know who you're going to choose. There's 2 gentlemen in the waiting room to be interviewed. We have Matthew Crisp and Scott Malcolm in there. Would you like to take a pick?
It's got to be Scott Malcolm, hasn't it?
It does indeed. The Scotsman chooses the Scotsman.
At last.
Well,
Not outnumbered.
to be fair, I'll leave you in the very capable hands of Peter MacKay. Scott Malcolm.
Scott, welcome to the Simracersworld commentary box. How was that day for you out at Imola today?
That certainly was interesting, wasn't it? God, that was. I'm basically shaking here. I don't know if the adrenaline's still gone or what, but yeah, that was pretty hectic.
It seems that everyone seems to have had the same kind of assessment, shall we say, of the action today. But you and Jess Myers had a bit of a 50-50 there going into Tamburello. Tell us about that.
Was that the third race?
I like it how you're going to ask that there's more than one of them.
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. Is this what's just getting shown here? Possibly. I don't know. We'll just see. Have a look back at it and see what happened.
So overall, you happy with your performance?
Usually getting these kind of results, I would be ecstatic, but I'm a bit disappointed for some reason. I thought I was going to get a fairly decent result in the third race there, but nah, I'm happy with that. I'm more than happy with that. That was pretty good to last standards.
Fantastic stuff, and of course, Scott, you're a fellow Scot. It's not too far away from me here in Edinburgh. We see you up at Knockhill next year, next season.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be up there if they allow them in.
You might even find a lesser spotted Chaz up there at some point. You never know. But I'll have to come and annoy you both, I reckon. We'll see. I'm good at that.
I'll have to leave a hole in the fence to get you guys in.
It'll have to be a big one with me after lockdown. But
just bring plenty of beer, Chaz. That's what you need.
I'll certainly make sure I do so, mate. I'll make sure I do so. I just wanted to say as well, obviously, Scott, somewhere that isn't near Edinburgh is Brands Hatch, which is where we're going next week. You, I think I recall you saying you're a fan of Brands Hatch. Do you reckon you'll go well there?
I hope so. I wouldn't say I was a fan, but I think I do pretty well there. So fingers crossed, get as good a result as what I've got tonight, or even better. You never know.
Indeed, mate. You never know, especially with this rabble in this series. It's pretty bonkers, isn't it? But it's good to speak to you as always, though, mate. Is there anybody you want to give a quick shout out to before you go?
Just the guys for putting up the time for organising this league, and obviously yourself and Pete for giving up your time and commenting and criticising everybody and praising what praises, and you know what?
Smashing. Well,
Actually, I do have one more question. I do have one more question for Scott, Chaz. Scott, who are you going to vote for in the VCO Simi Awards, me or Chaz?
Oh God, no comment. Thanks for putting me on the spot there.
I was just expecting to hear that little Discord disconnection noise.
The correct answer was the Scottish guy.
Connery Maddox's not Scottish.
I'll give you both half a vote.
You could vote for one and then find a pal to vote for Chaz.
I'll make a fake account and vote for two.
Yes, love that, Scott. Not that we encourage any of that, by the way. Anybody listening, we want fair voting.
No.
We want fair
Oh
voting.
God, we've done to see that live.
Love it. Well, great to speak to you as ever, Scott. Well done tonight. It was a lot of fun to watch, and we will see you next week at Brands.
Oh God, aye, right, okay then.
Cheers, Scott. Fantastic stuff there, I should say. I can't even get my words out now. I'm laughing too much. But Peter, another fantastic night for us, mate. Plenty of fun to commentate on this championship as ever with you, mate. Any particular highlights from you in this one?
Absolutely. When we nearly got Scott Malcolm to admit that he was going to vote for me in the VCO Simi Awards or not. There's so much. I tell you what, got to be Jess Myers getting the monkey off her back. She's had some bad luck. She's had some incidents, but yeah, to get the class win, brilliant stuff from her in the Flying Corgi Cherry Cola machine. Fantastic stuff. Brilliant job from Bram Van Putten to really get that last win. I think he really needed that. Without that win, you'd really starting to etch the name of Cornton Guinness on the trophy, but that's definitely kept the ball rolling. But like you say, remaining well and truly on the fence. What other superlatives can we come up with for Cornton Guinness? He's been exceptional, hasn't he?
He has indeed, and I think for me the highlight of the night was that move around the outside in race 1 to retake the lead and go on to win the race. Really just showed his class, that it's not a Vettel-like performance. No offence to Vettel, obviously, but you know, in his day when he was winning championships, he was in the fastest car, and a lot of the time, not all of the time, he was just driving away from the front, and we've seen Cornton Guinness do that. But he's shown us that he can pull off some really amazing moves to take that lead back and eventually take more points in the championship. But this has been the 10th, 11th and 12th rounds of the Z1 dashboard at Simracersworld TCR Winter Series from Imola. Peter MacKay alongside me in the box tonight. Thank you very much as ever. VCO Commentator of the Year nominated award. Sorry, I'll get that out again, shall I? Let's start that again. VCO Sim Racing Commentator. He's been nominated for an award. Peter MacKay and me, Chaz Draycott, in the box tonight. We hope you all have a fantastic evening. I'm going to go and put my teeth back in. We'll see you next week at Brands.